Yeah, hello! What's good, everybody? It's your boy Rumpus here with the Egghead Zoro guide. He's a fantastic unit. He is labeled as a runner, but he's basically an attacker as well and does both of them very, very well. So let's dive in and look at him overall. Now, if you have not gone over his skills and his traits, make sure you go over those real quick. Like, they are relatively simple to understand. He doesn't have too much going for him in terms of complexity, but you do need to make sure you understand when you get your Haki state, as that is a primary capability, and that's what makes or breaks Zoro as an entire unit. So hopefully you guys got those down, and let's get right into it. All right, first thing up is the stat recommendations. Now, honestly, these are relatively simple and as is. So I think because of your huge amounts of percent damages, you can hit enemies for 10% of their HP when you hit them 4 times on your basic attacks, which is huge. And on top of that, you have an ignore defense skill. And on top of that, you hit for 33% of their HP from your other skill too. So you have large amounts of percent damage, you have large amounts of just HP shred and ignoring defense, so you really don't need attack. I'm sure most of you have attack, and if you build attack, that is okay. It's not the end of the world, but I think HP defense is kind of going to min-max the most out of him. If you want to run like HP attack, that's fine. But I think in my personal preference, HP defense is the way to go. Now let's talk about the Egghead Zoro strengths. Honestly, he completely revolves around that King of Hell Haki state. Jesus, I don't know why I said it like that. And this makes him immortal. So every time you were to drop to basically die, you instantly revive 50% of your HP. Now you have it for 20 seconds if you take a flag, or if you hit an enemy 4 times within 3 seconds, you have it for 11 seconds. So those are some things to keep in mind. And in our little tips and tricks section, I'll give you some tips on what you can use to extend that length during your battle period. Next, you're able to take flags while the enemies are on them, only while in your Haki state, so keep that in mind that you do need to have that going. So if you do not have the Haki state, you're going to want to make sure you grab that. So it is okay. This is one of the main runners where it's okay to take an early flag, so you can be right in that state. Next is your percentage damage. You can deal heavy damage with that, especially to very, very tanky defenders, and it shreds for 10% of their HP. Plus you have the 33% from your skill 2, plus you already ignore defense on skill 1. We kind of already went over this, so huge things there. And you nullify stun as well. This is kind of to help with the Dark Runner Roger, so you can wail on him if he happens to be taking the flag from you right as you just take it. So things that help him out significantly, and surprisingly, stun is one of the most annoying status effects in the game, so this helps him out a lot. On top of that, you immobilize status effects, you nullify immobilizing status effects at any time you're on the enemy flag or while you're in your King of Hell Haki state. So, not being able to be frozen, singed, candied, tremored, shocked, stunned, all of those will not work on you. So you're relatively, as I said, kind of invincible, kind of immortal. It all fits right into that. Now let's talk about the cons. What makes you weak? Honestly, the status effects that you are weak to can destroy you. Mainly the anti-heal. If you get anti-healed, you will just straight up die if you are to get to the death point. So if someone just wails on you, even if you do have your King of Hell Haki state on and you're anti-healed, you're screwed. Especially since anti-heal usually lasts for a very long time. Normally, it's like 45 seconds on most characters' abilities. So just watch out for those people with those large amounts of anti-heal. And then next thing that can be your weakness is if you don't have your King of Hell Haki state, you are vulnerable and you're relatively easy to deal with. So you are primarily a runner. They did not give you anything in terms of tankiness or survivability except for your Haki state and being immortal. So if you end up being a punching bag and your Haki state runs out, you're going to be screwed. So just watch out for that as you're playing him. Die quickly, trust me, if the enemy knows what they're doing. Now let's talk about the characters you counter. Honestly, since you're generally overall good shredder, you have percentage damage, so really almost any defender, I think nearly every defender you can deal with relatively well. So people like Nolan. S-Snake can cause you a little bit of problems because she has a lot of invincibility and whatnot to work through, but you can kill her. It is very possible. You have S-Snake, you have people like Whitebeard. Now all of these, you counter them and can destroy them if you have your Haki state. That's what I'm going to consider this as the characters that you counter, because if you don't have it, you're screwed. People like Onigashima Nami, Onigashima Jinbei, Nolan. Many of these units, especially people with defense buffs, you can just destroy because it doesn't matter how tanky they are. You can kill Gear 5. The problem is you got to watch out for his knockbacks and make sure he's not sustaining. It's easier to just take the flag straight up from him. So just watch out for units like that who can just sit there and stall and keep healing, and if he's able to keep you out the flag. But if you just start taking the flag, that's a better bet. So again, your goal is to run and take flags. Don't always try and focus on killing. If you have the capability to take the flag, then start taking the flag. Zoro's counters. Who destroys him and who annihilates him? Onigashima Robin is going to be one. She is geared towards destroying runners, so she can really annihilate you, especially because she has the HP cut ability. So watch out for her if you end up running into her. She can absolutely destroy, and she has anti-stagger. She gets so many bonuses against runners, and she can just deplete your health entirely. So she's the first one. Next one is Onigashima Usopp. It's kind of funny how these Onigashima Straw Hats come in, but Onigashima Usopp has the ability to remove your Haki state. So even if you just took a flag, you have 20 seconds left, Usopp can press his skill 1 on you, which puts you to sleep and removes your state. So watch out for that because you will be left extremely vulnerable. And then the last counter in general isn't specifically a character, but it's anti-heal. So if someone like Mont Blanc Nolan, which you can easily destroy, but if he gets the anti-heal on you, he can just kill you and fight back. So things to watch out for while you're fighting people like that. There's people like Luffy, there's people like Law. Watch out for characters with that anti-heal. So mainly Law, Hybrid Kaido, and Mont Blanc Nolan. Those are probably the main ones that you'll run into in League Battle at this point in time. But you never know. There's a couple others with anti-heal that could pop up potentially here and there. Alright, I kind of want to go over a little bit of tips and tricks when you're playing Zoro from Egghead. He has a few things that you want to use to optimize kind of building and playing him. So the first things first is the Whitebeard's support. You're going to want to build that 6 tag on that, as it extends your status effects by 30% when you're below 50% HP. So you're going to want that to extend your overall Haki state. So if it's for 20 seconds, it'll be add an extra 30% onto that, which is some extra change. You're going to get an extra, like, what, 5 to 7 seconds or something? I don't know, I'm not doing the math in my head, but that is a huge bonus and can go a long ways. So really big on that. The next thing, as I mentioned earlier, is avoid anti-heal characters. And then the next one is, in order to get your Haki state, you have to hit 4 times within 3 seconds. In order to do this, you're going to want to hit your basic attack 2 times as it hits 2 times each time. So that it'll guarantee you your Haki state, so you can get it faster, quicker, and be guaranteed. So don't bother with going 1, 2, 3, because the way the game works and the way dodging works, and most people dodge, you won't get it right away and you'll end up knocking the enemies down. So go 1, 2, 1, 2, that'll guarantee you your Haki state, and you'll be good to go to keep on fighting. Lastly, let's talk about medal recommendations. Obviously, I have to add the Kaido all around. It gives you fast skill 1 cooldown. You get cooldown when you kill enemies, you get cooldown when you take flags. You have a lot going for you overall, and then when you get hit, you have skill 1 cooldown as well. So it'll just keep you dashing around and ignoring defense, and you can do a lot with that, trust me. The other ones is great cap speed. I do recommend this one. I think the most is some of these that allow you to get flags faster and do your job as a runner, because I think a lot of people forget when they play characters like this that you are supposed to be running and grabbing flags for your team so you can get a victory. The second one below with the Apu, the Snake Man, and the Brook medal, those give you large amounts of skill 2 cooldown and a little bit of extra cap speed if you would like to run that. So that is a large viable option. And this other one's the All-Star. This one revolves around getting your cooldowns when you're on the enemy's flag. Since you're going to almost always be on the enemy flag, it goes a long way and it cooks really hard. So I do recommend those, and those are really viable sets. If you do not have any of these things to work with, you can utilize what characters you have and just try and focus on getting as much cap speed as possible. Your cooldowns are relatively low and simple to get back, so they're not too much of an issue. Just as long as you get your Haki state, that is the #1 thing when playing Egghead Zoro. Alright you guys, that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and share. It would truly help me out a lot. But I'm your boy Roman Puss, and I'm going to be taking off. Yeah, peace, beautiful people.